for tuning in to Rooted Within Her, your go-to podcast. I am Brittany Bossop, holistic mental health therapist, author, veteran, international keynote speaker. Be sure to share, like, follow, and subscribe. And make sure you tune in weekly for your weekly dose of positivity to help challenge you to grow mentally, physically, and spiritually. And while you're at it, don't forget to go to rootedwithinher.com so you can get access to all of our amazing resources to help you heal and rebuild. Rooted Within Her focuses on helping each and every woman to rediscover their identity, rediscover their purpose so they can heal and rebuild after divorce. So make sure you grab your notepad and your pen and let's get ready to heal. And don't forget, this is where we believe in helping each and every person heal, rebuild, and rise so they can be the best version of themselves each and every day.
Yeah, Stella, baby.
Welcome to Rooted Within Her. Today, we're going to be talking about healing and transforming through grace. If you haven't gotten a copy of my book, make sure you go to Rooted Within Her, grab a copy, Unapologetically Divorced, 7 Powerful Tools to help you to rediscover your worth so you can heal and move forward. So, before we get into it, we're going to start with our scripture, Romans chapter 3, verse 24. It says, "And all are justified freely by his grace through the redemption that came by Christ Jesus." And oh my gosh, I love this. I love this so much because this means that nobody can try to hold you in a box. Nobody can try to say, last month, last year, you did this and when. Because the reality of it is, we have already been justified freely by the grace of God. We've been redeemed. Jesus did that for us. So why do you keep holding yourself in this prison of saying, I wish, shoulda, coulda, woulda, all these things? The reality of it is, no, you are not those things. There was a point in your life when you realized that you don't have to hold yourself according to what other people have said. And as we notice that, as we live life, people have this tendency of, if it's something they didn't do, they want to point all these fingers at you. But what I've noticed is it's something that they did, they don't want you to do that, right? They're like, oh, da, 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 da. And so the reality of it is don't allow someone to point out all your misperfections, but they're walking around like they're perfect, because the reality of it is nobody is perfect. And we all struggle with different things. And so the reality of it is we have to be willing to help each other. Be that sister for another sister to say, you know what, let me love on you. Let me show you how it feels to be loved and valued and appreciated. And that's the beauty. And that's why if you don't have community, get you some community, okay? Make sure you join our 40 challenge. Go to Rooted Within Her, join our community with other like-minded individuals who want to grow mentally, physically, and spiritually. And in my book, Unapologetically Divorced, again, it's not about marriage. It's about helping you to divorce every part of your life that's no longer serving you. As a mental health therapist, I can't tell you how many people hold on to things. They're afraid to let things go because of fear, because they don't want to take that leap of faith outside their comfort zone. And they're not alone. We've all been there. We've all been, as they like to say, hugging on to the boat. Not taking that leap of faith to walk on water. And so I'm going to read this, Healing and Transforming Through Grace. When you feel weighed down by pain or betrayal, remember that God can heal even the deepest wounds. And if you're listening today and you felt betrayed, it could be by your own child. It could be by that relationship that you were in. It could be from a close friend. I can't tell you how many people share their level of betrayal in their sessions. Whatever that is, I want you to know that you don't have to wallow in that hurt and that pain. You don't have to do that. That's why God tells us that whatever our pains are, whatever it is that we're dealing with, whatever is wearing us down, we don't have to wear that weight. We can give it to him because he's going to handle it. And, you know, you have a different level of maturity as you grow in your grace and as you grow in your wisdom and as you get older, right? Because like I tell you all the time, the 20-year version of me is not the 30-year version of me. But it's important to see your growth. You know, like I tell people, when you in your 20s, you be like, what's that again? Run it by me again? Okay, you know what? When you get off work, I'm going to be waiting by your car, right? But as you get older and you mature in your faith, you're like, you know what? You're not worth it. You are not worth it, because I know that God's going to handle you better than what I can do to you. Trust and believe that. And so, really, life is about how you choose to look at that lens in your life, and how you choose to believe that, you know what? I serve a God who's powerful, who's able to do exceedingly abundantly above all I can ask or think, according to the power that worketh in me. And when you believe, it doesn't matter what anyone says or does or thinks or whatever. It's just you set yourself free. And knowing that you've been justified, just if I had never done it. And I love that. I love that so much. And we have to remember that there is so much within us. There is so much that we can accomplish in our life, but we have to dig deep and do the work to heal. And I see so many people not doing the work to heal. They jump from relationship to relationship, thinking that one was going to be different, realizing, justifying that it's not. It's the same, because they didn't work on themselves. Matter of fact, neither person worked on themselves. And so I'm going to continue to read. Maybe you're praying for someone who has hurt you deeply. Understand this: God can do the impossible. Let's take Paul, for example, once known as Saul. He persecuted and killed Christians. But after an encounter with Jesus, his entire life transformed. Actually, on the road to Damascus, right? As I heard it said, he had passion, but he had the wrong type of passion. His passion was given the wrong way. And that's why he was blinded, so he could get realigned with the right way to display his passion. And so after an encounter with Jesus, his entire life transformed. He became one of the greatest advocates of the gospel. This transformation shows that no one is beyond the reach of God's grace, not even you or the people who have hurt you. And let's be real, by killing Christians and killing people, there are people who have hurt us so deeply. And we hurt, and it hurts. But what I'm saying to you is, if God can reach down and change Saul, why in the world would he not be able to do it for that person who has hurt you? And so we have to realize that, you know what? This is where I am. This is my reality. And I think so many times people get it so confused with thinking that if I forgive this person, that means they don't get a punishment for what they've done. And that's not true. Or they start to think that, oh, I still have to hang around this person and be around this person. And that's not true. The reality of it is that you are where you are and who you are for a reason. And the reality of it is you don't have to hang around people who are going to hurt you. Jesus came and lived on earth and gave us an amazing example of letting us know that we don't have to do those things. We don't have to put up with mess. Jesus didn't put up with it. Okay. Matter of fact, if you study the word, you'll realize Jesus had a very smart mouth. Okay. But we have to realize that there is a way to do things. And those of you who are listening today, you have to remember that sometimes we have to take a step away from all the noise and really focus on doing the work within. And I can't tell you how many times we take this journey and it hurts. Sometimes you got to do the ugly cry. You know, sometimes you have to really separate yourself from everyone and everything that has caused you pain so you can really heal. And if you're listening today and you're like, you know what, it's hard to heal because the very people who are the closest to me, or the ones that I've given birth to, or my own parents who have caused me so much hurt, or this relationship that I was in, or whatever it is. It could be a coworker, it could be a friend. your own child, whatever, whoever, just know that healing starts with you. We can blame people all day and all night. But what is that going to do for you? Nothing. And so the reality is we have to do the work. And you might say, how do I begin to heal? Well, of course, you can go to Ready Within Her, grab you some resources to start your healing and rebuilding journey. But it starts from you quieting the noise. One thing I share with people is I had to quiet the noise in my life. Because the reality of it is no one who has ever not stepped foot in your shoes can ever tell you how to do something. And that's with anything. If you haven't been a millionaire, you can't teach me how to be a millionaire. Period. But let's reel it on in. If you haven't been through the level of betrayal, you can say you understand, but do you really? If you've never been through domestic violence or you've never been through, the list goes on, anxiety, depression, or any of the things. I mean, I meet with so many different clients. They come in with so many things. And the reason I'm able to relate is outside of having years of extensive training is because I've been through a lot in my life. I had a client who told me, you are the first person to tell me that it's okay. That it's okay to release myself from this relationship. Because I'm able to come in and help you see it from a different perspective. I'm able to help you look at this thing and realize, like, if you keep going in that same direction that you're going in, where are you going to end up at? And so many people don't realize is that it starts with you. You have to want better. Some of us are so used to living in chaos. That's the real. We used to living in chaos. We used to, hey, coming in and you don't know what you're going to get. Because that's what you're used to. A life filled with peace and structure seems out of the norm. And then you got to start doing the study. Start studying your family history, realizing where is this coming from? Because it didn't start with you. It didn't. And knowing what I know now is we have to break the cycle. We have to break the cycle. And that's something that I talk about a lot is we have to break the cycle. But you can't break a cycle that you don't even know exists. So it starts with you. Do the work. Look inside. Dream big. Do what you need to do. So as we come to a close today, our affirmation of the day is, I am doing the work within. I am doing the work within to be filled with wholeness. I am doing the work within to be filled with wholeness. Again, I am doing the work within to be filled with wholeness. Because if you are whole, you're not going to be searching for who can give you what you need. Because you know that you're already filled with everything you need. I am doing the work to be whole and filled from within. So as I leave you today, I want you to reflect on your affirmation and continue to do the work to be whole and filled within.